Hey, what's up, future homeowners? Welcome back to the Real Estate HQ, where we break down real estate in plain English. So even if you've never bought a house before, you'll walk away feeling like a pro. I'm Marvin the agent, and today I'm going to show you how exactly to buy a house step by step. No fluff, no confusing real estate jargon, just a simple, beginner-friendly roadmap with real-world examples you can follow. If you stick with me, you'll know exactly what to do from the moment you decide, I want a house, all the way to holding the keys in your hand. Sound good? Let's jump in. So the first thing is understanding why you're buying a home. Before you even think about looking at houses, you need to ask yourself, why do I want to buy a house? Seems simple, right? But here's why it matters. It matters because buying a home is like committing to a long-term relationship. It's not something you do just because your friends are doing it or because Zillow told you that house looks cute. No, it's not. For example, I once had a client. She wanted to buy a house just because rent feels like throwing money away. And if you think about it, that's one good option because rent sometimes is throwing money away, right? But after we crunched the numbers, she realized she would be spending way more owning a house because she wasn't ready for repairs, taxes, or even mowing the lawn. Lesson here, if you're planning to stay in one place for at least 3 to 5 years, buying makes sense. But if you might move in a year or two, renting is often cheaper and less stressful. So apart from the mindset portion of buying a home, the first step is checking and knowing your finances. Okay, let's say you're ready, right? You made up your mind to buy a home. Step one is understanding your money situation. Here's what you need to know: how much money you make every month, how much debt you have every month, and how much you've saved for your down payment. Here's a quick example. Let's say you're 22 years old, working your first job, making $45,000 a year. Yay! You take home about $2,900 a month after taxes. And let's say you've got a student loan of about $300 that you pay every single month, and a car note. Let's make it as low as $100. Let's say you lease a car. You have $100 on a car payment. If you want to keep your home payment under 30% of your take-home pay, you should aim for $870 a month or less for your mortgage and other household costs. So the second step in this process is improving your credit score. Your credit score is like your GPA, right? For those of you who went to college and remember the whole GPA setup. It's like your GPA, but for money. It tells lenders how responsible you are with debt. The better your score, the lower your interest rate. Lower interest rate equals smaller monthly payments. So here's another real world example, right? Let's say you have a $300,000 home loan at 6% interest. That equals about $1,799 or $1,800 a month, right? At 7%, that now becomes $1,996 a month, $1,996 a month. That's a difference of $197 or about $2,364 per year. So in order to fix your GPA, fix your credit score, pay your bills on time, pay down credit cards to below 30% of their limit, and don't open new debt right before buying your house. Believe me, some people go out and they buy a car right before closing. Don't ever do that. So after you've fixed your credit, right? Your credit score is getting up there. Congratulations. The third step in this process would be saving for your down payment. And most people think you need 20% down. Nope, not true. For many loans, you can put down 3 to 5%. Here's an example. Let's say you're buying a condo for $250,000. With a 5% down, that equals $12,500. Way better than putting down $50,000. Not to say if you have $50,000 and you are in a good financial standing, put 20% down. But you don't need 20% down. But don't forget also closing costs. Things like title insurance, appraisal fees, and taxes, these are usually 2 to 5% off the home price. So a quick example of this is on a $250,000 condo that you're just planning on buying, expect another $5,000 to $10,000. Pro tip, look into down payment assistance programs. They can give you free money or loans to cover some of those costs. And trust me, there are a lot of them out there. You just have to do your research, look or follow me, stick around, and I'll have a video where I outline the different programs that will help you as a first-time buyer. Okay, so the next step in this process is getting pre-approved. And a lot of people don't understand this process, so let's get straight into it. Before you start looking at houses, you need a pre-approval letter. So think of a pre-approval letter as a golden ticket. It tells the seller, yep, this buyer has the money and is ready to go. Here's how it works. Let's say you call a lender or your local bank. They check your income, your credit, and your debts, right? They give you a letter that says how much house you can buy. This letter might say, John is pre-approved for $450,000 XYZ, right? So imagine two buyers want the same house. One has a pre-approval letter, the other one doesn't. Guess who the seller is going to trust? Right. You see what I'm trying to say? The one with the proof. All right. So after you've gotten your pre-approval letter, whether you've gotten the pre-approval letter from your local bank or a lender, right? Let's say you use Rocket Mortgage or any of the other lenders, online lenders out there. Whatever you choose, whatever makes you comfortable or whatever gives you good interest rate, it doesn't hurt to shop around for different lenders. Maybe you're a part of a credit union. They could give you a good rate. They might give you a better rate than your local bank, actually. But whatever you use, shop around. Okay. After that part, the next step in this process is finding a real estate agent. So the simplest way to put this is, it's like comparing a real estate agent to a coach, right? A good agent is like having a coach in your corner. They'll find a house, set up showings, negotiate for you, and handle all the boring paperwork. The best part is, as a buyer, sometimes, and I say sometimes because this has changed and a lot of people might not know about it, sometimes you don't pay us, right? Sometimes the seller does, but not always. So keep that in mind. So here's how to pick an agent, right? 1, check reviews, ask friends for recommendations, and make sure they know about first-time buyers program or any other program that might assist you as a first-time buyer. The next step is house hunting. Okay, here comes the fun part, and it's finding your dream home. But please remember, don't get distracted by shiny things. I've seen people fall in love with a house just because of a fancy kitchen, and they completely ignore that it's 1 hour away from their job or it's in a flood zone. Nothing wrong about living an hour away from your job, but if you've made up your mind that that's the drive you want to have, then cool. But make sure you take those things into consideration, okay? Here are some tips for you. Make a must-have list, right? Obviously, bedroom count, yard space, location, right? Stick to your budget. And go to open houses to get a feel for the neighbors. Because trust me, we've all seen or we've all heard of horrible neighbors, right? Not all neighbors are going to bake you cookies and welcome you to the neighborhood. Just remember that. So go to open houses in the neighborhood to get a feel for the neighborhood, all right? And to get a feel for your neighbors. So just a quick example on the whole budget piece, right? A past client of mine wanted a 4-bedroom house. But after seeing his mortgage payment estimates, we found a 3-bedroom home that still fit his lifestyle needs and saved him $400. Okay, so after you've toured the neighborhood, you've seen the neighbors, the budget works, the next step is making an offer. Once you find the home, the one, right? The one that you decided that this is the house you want, right? Your agent will help you to make an offer. This is basically a contract saying, I want this house and I'll pay X amount for it. Sometimes you'll have to negotiate. If the seller wants $300,000 and you offer $290,000, they might counteroffer for $295,000, right? This is where your agent will guide you during this process. If you're successful in this process and you've beat out all the other competitors on this property, you've now got an accepted offer on your property. Congratulations, right? So once you've made an offer, and if your offer is accepted, the next step is you'll need to get an inspection, right? Think about the inspector like a detective. They'll check the roof, the plumbing, the foundation to make sure that the house isn't a money trap. If something big comes up, like a leaky roof, then you can ask the seller to fix it or lower the price. It gives you room to negotiate. Or you could just simply walk away. I had a buyer whose inspector found a $10,000 worth of electric problems in a property. But guess what? We negotiated and the seller paid to fix it. So after your offer has been accepted, you've done your inspection, everything is up to par, or the seller agrees to fix anything that wasn't up to par, then comes the closing day. Finally, closing day. This is when you sign a mountain of paperwork, but it's also the day you get your keys. Make sure you do final walkthrough of the home before signing. Typically, an agent might have you do a final walkthrough of the home the morning of the closing. So on the morning you're closing, early that morning, they might have you walk through the property, make sure everything is up to par as you left it, and then you go to your closing. So the walkthrough is just to confirm everything is as agreed. Here's a bonus tip for you. Don't change jobs or buy a car while getting a mortgage. Don't skip the inspection, and also keep saving even after buying the house. Guess what? Stuff will break. Trust me. After you close on your property, expect stuff to break. Expect things to happen. So keep saving. All right. That's the entire step-by-step process of buying a house. Now you know exactly what to expect from saving money to moving in. If you want to make this process easier, go to my link, download my free first-time home buyer's guide. Link is in the description. It has a checklist and worksheets you can use to track your progress. Don't forget, like this video, comment, home ready if you're starting your journey. And also subscribe for weekly tips that will save you money and time and headaches. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.